What is your reaction to Justice Ginsburg's comments?
Skip, I have the utmost respect for Justice Ginsburg. She's been a very good champion for a lot of causes, for a lot of minorities over the course of her tenure on this very prestigious and high court. But she's just looking at the facts of the case. And the fact is, Colin Kaepernick is taking a knee during the national anthem. And that she has a problem with. But she needs to be very careful because her opinions carry more weight than Colin Kaepernick's knee, more weight than a raised fist. So she needs to be very, very, very careful because there's a chance or a probability, maybe even a likelihood that something of this nature could reach her court. See, when she says it's stupid, arrogant, there are a lot of people that thought the march in Selma was stupid and dumb. The march on Washington was stupid and dumb. I would ask Justice Ginsburg that when you see a man crying, don't tell him to stop crying. Ask him, say, sir, why are you crying? Why are you hurting? What is hurting you so bad and causing you so much pain that you would cry? And then not listen to him, but hear him. When he tells you, Justice Ginsburg, there's a problem going on in our society that we are seeing far too many unarmed black men dying at the hands of police with no accountability ever taking place. Then after you listen to him and you hear him, then if you want to have an opinion, you're welcome to it. See, she has a different view of what that flag represents. And Skip, from the very beginning, you and I have said, the flag represents a lot of things to a lot of different people. But she was very, very careful. She kept it strictly about the flag. She didn't say military. She didn't say veterans.
Nope.
She kept it about the flag because that is the facts. That is the act that she wants to speak on because she doesn't want to broaden this scope because she realizes and she knows what her opinions mean. She got into a little trouble earlier this year when she spoke on Donald Trump. And there are a lot of people that took issue with that. And she's like, you know what? I spoke out of turn. I should not have said what I said. I apologize.
You think there's a chance she would back off these comments?
Probably not, Skip, because she's talking about the act. See, she doesn't care why he's doing it. That's unimportant to her. All she is seeing is the visual optics of someone not standing at attention when the national anthem is being played and that flag is waving in the wind. That's the only thing she wants to talk about. She knows, because if she's smart enough to understand and know what he's doing, she knows now why he's doing it. But she doesn't want to touch that issue because let's just say for the sake of argument, something of this magnitude comes to her court and she's already offered a strong opinion that she's not in favor of this. Now she might have to recuse herself from being even hearing this.
She might.
So,
yep.
Skip, I love Justice Ginsburg, and like I said, she's been a very good champion for a lot of minorities and but I wholeheartedly disagree. And if she was any other person, I would not take issue with her opinion. But because her opinion carries so much weight, and she is paid, and she sits in a position where her opinions matter, she's paid and she's sworn to justice to offer an opinion, be it a majority opinion for or a dissenting opinion against. So that's different than you and I having an opinion, Skip, because she's sworn and her opinions mean something. So she needs to be very, very careful because people will look at her and says, hold on, here's a woman that sits on the highest court in the land, looks down and says, this is dumb, this is stupid, and the athletes that are doing it are arrogant. So tread very, very carefully, Justice Ginsburg.
Yes. I appreciate everything you just said. I must admit, I was shocked by her comments, given all that we've talked about over the last month on this show. And I dare say, if she had spoken what she spoke to Katie Couric, was it yesterday or the day before maybe? If she had done this a month ago, I think it would have been a blow to the Colin Kaepernick-inspired national anthem movement that I think has done so much good for the issue you just brought up. Because I'm hoping that Colin Kaepernick's original, I'm going to call it courageous act. I told you how I felt I'm just a white guy, and I'm a God and country guy. So when I first saw him not stand for the anthem, I told you I cringed about it until I heard what he said. And the more he spoke, the more I came around to his message, which cannot get lost in the way he chose to protest.
Right.
I'm not saying it was the greatest way to choose, but you kept making the point from the start. A protest is designed to make people uncomfortable. And as long as you don't alienate those people, as long as their ears and eyes stay open to your message, you have won. You have succeeded. And I think Colin Kaepernick and those who chose to follow him inspired a national conversation that was desperately needed in this country. It brought some attention to and a lot of awareness to an issue that had gone unaddressed, as we keep talking about. White cops killing defenseless black men without any justice at all, any form of checks and balances.
And even some black cops killing unarmed black men, because sometimes there's an implicit bias that you don't even know you possess.
So, back to our Supreme Court justice. She completely dismissed Colin Kaepernick's message. She paid no respect to it whatsoever. She didn't say, I get what he's saying and I hear what he's saying. She dismissed the way he chose to protest it and dismissed it as really dumb and stupid, and introduced the idea of incarceration like she actually considered, would I put somebody in jail for this? No, I wouldn't. But she introduced the idea like she actually had thought through the prospect of, should somebody go to jail for this? That's how strongly she feels.
Yes.
And then she equates it to the burning of the flag. That's how much the national anthem means to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And to your point, remember, all the way up the ladder, she has fought for women's rights, for equal pay. She has known injustice and persecution within her own world. And just a couple of quick points. She's fought for women's rights within Judaism. Well, she was working for the Social Security Department at age 22, and she got demoted because she became pregnant, so she had to fight against that. This is going back to 1956, but her Harvard Law School class, there were 9 women and 500 men. And one of the deans asked all the women, how do you justify taking a spot from a qualified man? This is what she was battling against all the way up the ladder. And as she first went out into the workforce and tried to get a job after law school, she struggled to find a position because she had a 5-year-old daughter and because she was Jewish. So she's known these fights. She knows, we could argue all day about which is the more important fight between your fight and her fight, but still she's known minority fights.
Yes.
And so I thought it would be dear to her heart, the message that Colin was attempting to convey here, but she just said, no, it's really dumb, it's arrogant, and it's stupid. Really?
Yes.
Well, that's just so dismissive with giving him no quarter at all. No acknowledgement of, I know what he was trying to say, but this is not the way to say it.
Right.
That would have been the correct way for...
But you have to understand, Skip, she is a lawyer, and she can only look at the fact and the act. Because if she goes beyond that, and this comes before her court, and she's already offered an opinion, now, there are going to be some lawyers that's going to say, we don't really think that Justice Ginsburg should be able to hear this because she's already formulated an opinion. She's already offered this opinion to a Katie Couric, and they're going to offer the date and the time, and they're going to say, introduce this. So she can't do that. But Justice Ginsburg, what we ask you is that the justice, and you're talking about should they be put in jail, that's the questions we're asking of these police officers that keep shooting these unarmed black men.
Yes.
Can we get some justice for them?
I hear you. So now in the larger picture, I can tell you what's going to happen. A whole lot of people who love that flag are going to step up today and say, I told you so.
Right.
and it's going to hurt the movement. But I'm trying to make the point to you, and I hope you're with me on this. I think the movement went far enough to create the appropriate awareness.
Yes.
Is that possible? Did you feel that?
I believe, I totally believe it, because we're seeing it in colleges. We're seeing it at the youth level. So this is not only a professional athlete thing now. This is not only where you see guys in the National Football League taking a knee or raising their fist. We see this in college. We see it in band members at universities. We see it at the youth level, at the high school level. So it's big now. And the thing is, look, the flag, and Skip, I like to try to be abundantly clear. The flag does not represent all things to all people. The flag is supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the opportunity that you can become and almost do anything you want in America. But it's also, that flag has represented so much harm and despair that it's caused to a lot of people. That flag does not mean the same thing to a Native American as it does a Caucasian American. It does not mean the same thing to some Black Americans as it does a Caucasian American. So stop trying to force and say, this is what it means to me. Okay, I'm fine if it means that to you. But I'm talking about it from a different perspective than you. Because you have not, as a white male in America, there has been no laws enacted that said you could go play on a team. There have been no amendments made that says you can go do this. But women, African Americans, minorities, LGBT communities, there have been laws. Name the law. I want the law that said a white man had the right to do anything besides being born white. Just one time, women had to fight for the right to vote. Blacks had to fight for the right to vote. The vote that was guaranteed us, we had to wait 200 years to get it. Why? And you think that flag means the same thing to me as it does to you that had these rights? That I had to go to the back of the bus? So I had to sit in the back of the stadium?
I got it. So is she being terribly insensitive?
I believe she is. I believe she is. And like you, Skip, you always preface, when we talk about issues about race, you say, Shannon, I'm speaking about this from a white male in America. So I can't speak to your experience. You always preface it by that. But what you were so willing to do, Skip, always have, and I've only known you for a couple of years, you've always been willing to listen. It says, okay, I'm the white male in America. Why are these black men, why is this community so up in arms about what's transpiring? Let me hear. I see them crying, and instead of telling them to shut up and stop crying, I need to ask, why are you crying? What is causing this pain, this hurt, that you're so upset and you're so angry that you would do this when you know the outcry that it's going to cause? Because most white Americans love the flag. So you know if you do something to the flag, it's going to cause a reaction.
And by the way, don't a lot of Black Americans love the flag too? Yeah, I mean, I get the history.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. And the thing is that you know the reaction by doing what you're doing is going to cause. And Colin Kaepernick says absolutely. Because then, when you ask me why I did what I did, I can tell you. Because see, before then, I don't only want your attention, I want your undivided attention. And the only way that I can get that is to do something that the very thing that America stands, because you see that more than anything. You see the stars and stripes, and you see the star, and you see the flag waving. Oh, so that's what it is. And so now Colin Kaepernick is saying, okay, now you know why I'm doing it. It's not about the flag. It wasn't about the veterans. It's not about the military. I'm trying to bring attention to the thousands and thousands of unarmed black men that's dying at the hands of police officers with no accountability. There is no judgment. The minorities, the women, the LGBT community that's suffering inequities in our society. Okay, this is where we are right now. So let's stop talking about the flag. Let's stop talking about the protests. Let's stop talking about the military. Because, Judge Ginsburg, this is what I'm willing to do, and all these other. I wouldn't have a problem getting on my show or any show and telling all the minorities and all the athletes, Guys, stand. And when the national anthem starts to play, I want you to put your right hand over your heart. And then come Monday, Judge Ginsburg and all the people that have a problem with the protest, can we talk about the issues that led to the protest? That's what we really want to talk. That's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about what's leading guys to raise their fists.
I got it. You have led me to my final question to you. So Colin has gone from sitting for the anthem to just kneeling for the anthem to show some respect. He sort of took the middle ground.
Yes.
And now, would it be a powerful statement to go ahead and stand and put your hand over your heart? Like I took my stand while sitting and kneeling.
Yes.
Would it send a stronger message? Would it sort of validate the message? Now I'm back. I'm still with America.
Right.
Or would it look like he is caving or acquiescing or becoming that terrible term, that house term, you know, what I'm talking about? Are you becoming that guy again? No, you're not becoming that guy. But would it look like that? You tell me. What would be the right move off her comments? Now, is her comments, are they a watershed moment where now Colin Kaepernick says, okay, I'll go ahead and stand for this anthem. I'll show you I'm with you, America, but I want you to remember my message, because it went on for a month.
Yes.
We talked, there's been, maybe we didn't do it yesterday, right on the show, but in the month plus we've been on the air, we haven't missed a day talking about this issue except for yesterday.
We've done it on numerous occasions. Okay. So Colin Kaepernick and all the rest of the minorities in America, they stand again and they put their right hand over the heart. Are they going to come to the table with solutions, police reform, and how they deal with our communities? Because if you're not, because see, here's the thing that I'm afraid of, Skip, is that if we start to stand again and we put our hands over our heart again when the national anthem is being played, you're still not wanting to come to the table. You're still not wanting to have police reform in how you engage and interact with the African-American community and minorities. So see, it was really never about, it was really never about the
But that has to start in police departments across this country.
Right.
I don't know, because I'm not connected to police departments, but I got to believe that there's action afoot here. I got to believe that things are taking place at the lowest levels in police departments trying to correct this problem.
Correction can only take place if you believe a mistake has been done.
True.
How many times when a police officer does something wrong, the rest of his brother and the union stand so united behind him? See, they won't even acknowledge or admit that there's something wrong or they've done something wrong. See, that's the problem. See, that's the first part of answers and resolution. I've done wrong. I've made a mistake. Okay, let's come to a resolution. Let's see how we can solve this problem. I'm all for it, Skip.